Can you hear me better now? Yeah, let me check my mic, my settings. Hello? Okay, hold on. Microphone. It's actually pretty loud. I'm not sure why it's not sounding better. Okay, it's better now. Thank you. Thank you for letting me know. Okay, Alba, thanks. Loud and clear. Wonderful. Good morning. Well, thank you to everyone who has joined this morning, and welcome to week 3 of the ESG in Tech Bootcamp. And I hope you're just as excited as we are for today's sessions. This week, we're looking into the crucial topic of measuring and reporting ESG performance, and we'll explore the transformative power of design thinking for ESG. Good morning from India. Um, We'll also be exploring key aspects of governance and the role of ethical tech practices in shaping a sustainable future. And by the end of today, you'll be better equipped to integrate ESG principles into your projects and lead innovation in your respective fields. Does that sound like something that you're interested in? Is this why you're here this morning, or did we miss the mark? Does it sound like something that you want to learn about this morning? Okay, Arpita is excited. Thank you for responding, Arpita. So let's make this session as exciting, as engaging, and as impactful as it can be. So don't let me be the only one talking today while I'm, moderating the conversations. Be very active in the chat. Be very active in writing notes, taking notes. If you have any questions, feel free to drop it in the comment section, and then the team will, at the end when questions are being read out, will make sure to, save your questions and then ask them later, or the speakers will be able to also answer the questions as they come up while they're speaking. Now, to kick things off, let's quickly revisit our objectives for this week. By the end of week 3, can I speak a bit louder? This is it. This is just the volume. I'm not sure why you can't really hear me. Maybe try turning up your speakers to the loudest. Um, yeah. All right, Sigaya, let me know if turning up your volume works for you, okay? So at the end of this week, you'll be able to understand emerging ESG trends driving innovation. You'll be able to identify and navigate ESG risks and opportunities within the tech sector. You'll be able to apply design thinking principles to ESG challenges. You'll be able to grasp the key regulatory frameworks and ethical practices for governance in the digital age. And then finally, you'll continue refining and discussing your capstone projects, incorporating ESG insights that you're going to learn in today's session. Volume is still low. Okay, give me a second, guys. All right. Let me know if you can hear me better now or if it's still the same. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning, TT. Dr. MTS says better now. So much better. Wonderful. Martin, better. Yeah, thanks for the feedback, everyone. Uh, Zoom is very funny sometimes. So we just have to keep working at it. And thank you for, bearing with me until we figured out all of the things that we needed to do. So I'm going to talk about the objectives for this week again, if for those people who may not have been able to hear me very clearly when I said it the first time. To for this week, we're going to be looking at a number of things. We're going to be looking at measuring and reporting ESG performance. And then we're also going to be exploring the transformative power of design thinking for ESG, as well as key aspects of governance. And we're also going to be looking at the role of ethical tech practices in shaping a sustainable future. And by the end of this week, this is what you're going to learn, okay? By the end of this week, you'll be able to understand emerging ESG trends in driving innovation. You're going to be able to identify and navigate ESG risks and opportunities within the tech sector. You're going to be able to apply design thinking principles to ESG challenges. And you're also going to be able to grasp the key regulatory frameworks and ethical practices for governance in the digital age. And then finally, you're going to keep working on your capstone project based on some of the insights that are going to be shared during the session. Okay. Um, we already know that we have a great day today. So, whatever you do, just make sure that you're plugged in, make sure that you're engaged, make sure that you're not distracted. If you need to grab a snack, just put it beside you right now so that while the sessions are going on, you're not going to go and do something that you're not supposed to be doing at this time, Ultimate focus is required this morning. Of course, let's start with the introductions of the speakers that we're going to be having today. And then this will be followed by an interactive session using Menti. And this is your chance to share your thoughts and set the tone for the day. And then I'll also give a quick overview of what's coming up as well. So if you can please display the Menti link or the speaker profiles as well and the Menti link, admin. Thank you. Wonderful. So if you can scan the barcode to get on Menti, and then we'll begin to just do answer a few questions before we go ahead with the rest of the session this morning. Are we in? Where are you joining from? I see Russia. See Peru, Mexico, Argentina, um, wonderful, from all over the world. Again, joining from Nigeria, Medina Musa from Nigeria. All right, you can still barely hear me. Oh, I don't know what to do at this point, too. Let me look at my settings again. Yeah, okay, it's turned all the way up. So, huh? Okay. Hi from Lesotho. I believe it's from my side. I'm not audible at all. You can barely hear. It's way better now. Okay. All right. Zoom is trying to stress everybody out this morning, but let's not allow it. Okay, all good now. Wonderful. So let's all hop on Menti because the sound issues have been resolved. Um, Hello from Pakistan. Farial, is that it or is it Fayal? Let me know. Let me know. All right, are we going on to the next question on Menti? Kenya, Salome from Kenya. Lovely. Good to meet you. Welcome. Okay, wonderful. So let's have the next question, please. Doris is joining from Ghana. Welcome. Desi from Ethiopia. Naledi from South Africa. I love it so much. Good to see everyone this morning. The code for Menti isn't working. Well, okay, so I'm going to read out the question and then we can just write our responses in the comment section real quickly, okay? Wonderful. A 1 minute recap. I just talked about the things that we're going to be doing in this session. So you haven't missed much. The sessions haven't started. In this session, we're going to be looking at, emerging ESG trends. We're going to be identifying and navigating ESG risks and opportunities within the tech sector. We're going to be applying design thinking principles to ESG challenges. We're going to be grasping key regulatory frameworks and ethical practices for governance in the digital age. And you're going to be taking notes so that you can apply the things that you're learning today to your capstone projects. The code is not working. Yeah. Do you know what? Let's forget about Menti for now. We can ask the questions here and then let me know if we're still going to be using the Menti link or if we should just move on to the next session, to the next thing on our program for today. Admin, code is invalid. Code is not working. Wonderful. I see you are like ready to learn, so I love it. Yes. Wonderful. Okay, so our first speaker for today is from Botswana, a powerhouse, Onetse Ndadi. And our first speaker, that's the name of our first speaker, an expert from Botswana, who will discuss how emerging trends are driving innovation in ESG practices, particularly in tech and sustainability. So please feel free to drop your questions in the chat as the session progresses. Anatse, are you there?
Hello.
Hello, hello, hello.
Yes, I'm here. Just give me a minute. I'll just jump in just now.
All right. We're waiting for you to take the jump.
Thank you. Am I
One.
able to share my presentation?
Yes, you may. I believe,
I'm not seeing the share option.
It's like a green button right in front of you.
Oh, okay. No, I see it now. Sorry, I see it now.
It's all right. Does it work? Wonderful. And that's it. Did I say your name right?
Yes, you did.
Okay, look at me. Love it. Okay, are you before we start your session, can you tell us one fun fact about you that we may not know?
One fact about me. What is it? I don't know what you don't know.
Okay, I'll ask you this question. What got you interested in ESG?
Oh, okay. The one fact about me is I'm not a scientist. I'm not from I deal with ESG, but I'm not from the background of environmental science.
Let's
That's
talk
something
about
that many
let's explore
many
that.
find a little bit. And
So what's your
you
background?
ask, my background is in business strategy and of course green economy, but not from the scientific perspective.
Okay. So I think that a
Yes.
lot of people here as well are not science based. So I feel like they're going to have a lot to take away from this session.
That makes it all interesting because we are not going to use any jargon.
All right, Anand, say take it away.
Are you able to see my screen?
Yes, I can. And I hope it's also a weekend. But let us know, okay? Wonderful.
Okay, no, I'm just about to start. Do you need me on video?
Uh, I believe so. Wonderful.
Okay,
Thanks for
there it
joining us.
goes.
Actually, did you want to deny us of this pretty face?
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Um, so should I go ahead?
Yes, please.
Okay. Yes, my name is Onetsen Dadi. I'm from Botswana. We are an ESG consulting firm. We offer advisory and training services, and we are an accredited training institution. So far, we offer services that actually span across the African markets as well. We actually run ESG boot camps for strategy development, for risk management, as well as other courses that are related to ESG, such as diversity, equity, and inclusion. And all these are available to everybody in the African markets because we also use virtual deliveries as well. Is my screen okay? Yes, on the screen is our contacts there. You may connect with us. We are very much visible on LinkedIn and Facebook, and they are our emails there and contact numbers. Our telephone code starts with +267. And then our services, we offer ESG and sustainability training courses, ESG advisory, research, strategy and policy development, monitoring and evaluation. And there I am. That's my profile out there. I've been in business development, green economy, ESG, and sustainability development. I have over 15 years industry experience in academia, public, private, and NGO sectors. I'm also a lecturer, by the way. And I'm a certified climate and renewable energy finance expert. I'm also GRI trained on sustainability management. Back to the presentation for today. I would like to start this discussion by outlining how ESG relates to the Sustainable Development Goals. I take it some of us here are aware that many countries have actually subscribed to the Global Sustainable Development Agenda, and it is the ESGs that form the basis for the three dimensions of ESG. And that's why when you look at the screen there, you see that the SDGs, all the 17 SDGs, they actually fall within one of the dimensions. So that means they form the basis for ESG parameters. And the ESG parameter itself being just a framework that is used to measure and promote accountability for sustainability management. So ESG is just a framework. It's not anything beyond that. And it's a framework for sustainability management. So the SDGs actually are the ones that underpin. So for every country that has subscribed to the Sustainable Development Goals, it's important that the business community and the individuals within that particular country, they contribute towards achievement of the Sustainable Development Agenda. Everything starts, it's more like the Sustainable Development Goals. They are the overarching global strategy. And then at country level, no, at continental level, we also have, for example, the Africa Agenda 2063. And then that will be the continental strategy, which also borrows from the global one. And then at country level, different countries have different strategies on how they are going to contribute towards the achievement of the SDGs. So as indicated, they are the ones that influence measurement metrics for the ESG dimensions. They are the foundation. Okay. I take it by now, since we are now at week 3, I take it by now you have met other speakers that have actually given you basics of what ESG is all about. For me, I always say ESG is everything we do. And ESG cuts across all industries. It is everything we do. I'm going to play as just a short video that just summarizes why, to a certain extent, as innovators, we have to solution for the different interest groups. Please give me a thumbs up if everything is in order, because I'm not sure if everything is moving okay. It's not just because of COVID. Lenders are under pressure. Is something.
Anatse, the sound from the video isn't really working well.
Is it? But it's at its highest. Maybe let's just watch the graphics so that we don't spend a lot of time on the video.
Wonderful.
Yeah. Set up Okay. We are done with the video. That video, actually, for those who didn't have sound, it was showing us that organizations or corporates, they exist in a multi-stakeholder environment where there are different interests from the stakeholders. We have different stakeholders, some are internal, some are external. We have investors, we have communities, we have employees, we have customers. And all these, including the government and regulators, all these, they have different expectations from organizations, which then in turn means as innovators, we have to provide solutions that actually support businesses to deliver on their mandates to the different stakeholders. And that is where the concept of design thinking comes in. And in using design thinking, we use it as an approach to achieve a perfect problem solution fit, as well as thriving to meet stakeholder interests. And in using design thinking, we empathize, we take into considerations the needs of the different stakeholders. I will not dwell a lot on the design thinking process. And I was just bringing it in here so that to make it relatable as to why we now, when we solution for the different stakeholders, as per dictated by the ESG expectations, we now have to do things the right way to ensure we meet the needs and stakeholder interests. So when we now reflect a bit as tech practitioners or innovators, we will see that innovation and technology are an enabler for effective ESG and sustainability management protocols. This comes about from the process of progress tracking, where technology enhances efficiency and where technology enhances efficiency in progress tracking. ESG is an evidence-based journey. It requires a lot of tracking of progress. How are we doing? How are we doing it? How can we do it better? It matters a lot. And then there's also, yes, the evidence-based decision-making. There's the process efficiencies as well, where we now apply technology and innovation to achieve those. And then technology and innovation also drives compliance, and it also drives transparency and accountability. How can organization achieve or utilize technology and innovation to achieve sustainability or effective or positive ESG performances? They do that through one, adoption of sustainable business models. We are used to the linear economy approach, where we just take resources, make whatever products we want, and we take everything to waste or to the dumping sites. But there is an alternative, which is the circular economy, which says let's reuse the products. Let's also recycle. Let's also repurpose, so that we also reduce uptake of new raw materials. So from a technological perspective or an innovation perspective, now it calls for innovators to actually design services and products with a view of implementing sustainable business models. I will go a little bit into in depth into that in terms of what can really be done. When you're using circular economic principles to drive ESG aspirations, first of all, you commit to designing for sustainability. This is where we drive eco-innovations. We focus on reducing waste and keeping resources in use for longer. That is, you're going to see yourself as a designer looking at even the choice of your raw materials being those that can actually have longer life cycles and they are recyclable. In some instances, you also choose modular designs. Then we also design for repair. We ensure that whatever we design, it actually has spare parts available. And we design for repurposing and upcycling. And all these ends up, it should be done with a purpose to also ultimately reduce environmental impacts through sustainable supply chains, where we are saying, how do we reduce our carbon footprint, even in terms of making sourcing decisions? So the technological aspect there comes from the systems that we put in place to ensure that, one, we reduce our carbon footprint, we create efficient and effective systems in place. A simple decision like instead of asking people to make submissions of hard copy documents to your office, and you tell them, please send us through email, or you provide a virtual platform where submissions can make. It has a huge impact on sustainability issues, because, for example, there won't be people driving around, going to go around to go and deliver those documents, to the issue of printing of papers as well. So those are sustainability decisions that you make once you decide to adopt circular economy principles. And then there's also the aspect of product lifecycle assessment, where you intentionally also say, I'm going to assess the products that are put on the market out there and ensure that they are indeed of longer life, right from extraction of raw material to disposal. And you use data-driven insights to improve sustainability practices. That goes back to that point where I said you can actually have tech actually driving evidence-based decision-making. Is there a question, or should I proceed?
You can proceed.
I'll proceed. Thank you. Yes. The other business model that you adopt when you are thinking how you can apply tech and innovative practices is allowing the earth to heal through regenerative business models. Here you focus on restoring the ecosystem, and you do so by ensuring there's sustainable agricultural practices, afforestation, and biodiversity conservation. We know that for the longest time, we've also been choosing to use chemicals, a lot of chemicals on our soils as well. We need to go back. But sometimes, because we introduced all this chemical-based production system because we wanted more yields, now we have to bring in aspects of technology to say, but how can we harness technology to ensure that we still continue achieving higher yields, meanwhile using natural resources, allowing the earth to regenerate? So we use technological approaches to monitor land and resource management. We do satellite monitoring for tracking, reforestation, and biodiversity. We use machine learning for predictive analysis of environmental impact. So all that requires us to adopt and relate technology and innovation issues to ESG. The other way to go about it is to also design for diversity, equity, and inclusion. It's also an emerging trend where we see the need for inclusive sustainable development, calling for inclusive sustainable solutions. This means we create accessible products for all through affordability and assuming or acknowledging that we are different. Besides the issue of cost effectiveness for undeserved community, we also have to acknowledge that there's infrastructure limitations for some. For example, it's very common that when innovators think about solutions, they think about solutions that need internet for access. And usually that becomes a limiting factor for the communities that are not connected. So ultimately we leave them out. And by leaving them out, it means we are now widening the marginalization gap. So we need to be sensitive to closing the marginalization gap as we develop our services and products. And then we also need to appreciate the fact that there are disability considerations to take into consideration. We need to come up with products and services that take into consideration those that are differently abled. You may find you come up with a beautiful product, but it can't be accessed by all. That person who is deaf cannot use your gadget or your product. That person who is blind cannot be able to access or use that particular service or product. So you need to be sensitive, acknowledging that we are differently abled as well. And then we need to just make a deliberate move to say we are going to make non-discriminative designs of products and solutions. All this is in line with the expectations as per the SDGs. Remember, we said the SDGs form the basis for what goes on at ESG level. So all these expectations in terms of closing the marginalization gaps, there are specific SDGs that actually speak to us reducing inequalities and ensuring there is equality and, where possible, tagging everybody along. So the other way to also look at how tech relates to ESG is also consider the emerging technologies in ESG value chains. This is where we look at issues around artificial intelligence and machine learning for ESG impact, where we use artificial intelligence-powered analytics to enhance sustainability reporting and risk assessment. We also use predictive analytics to optimize resource usage and reduce carbon footprints. We also adopt machine learning to enable automation of ESG compliance tracking. We use IoT and smart sensors for resource efficiency. We use smart meters and IoT sensors. We also apply the smart sensors and IoT in food security. And we look at building smart cities that integrate IoT for improved urban sustainability. This slide here, we are just trying to demonstrate how technology and innovation also fuses into the whole ESG concept as well. So these are some of the emerging trends that we see in terms of technological adoption. At diversity, equity, and inclusion level, we also see AI-driven HR tools when it comes to talent acquisition to reduce issues around unconscious bias in hiring, where you would feel, no, I don't want to hire this person because he has dreadlocks, whilst it shouldn't have been an issue at all. So those are some of the issues that we deal with, where you just you get biased because it's your own personal beliefs. We also use data analytics to monitor workplace diversity and inclusion KPIs. We also use AI-powered employee wellness platforms to offer real-time mental insights, or even to just support remote workplace platforms. We've now seen a lot of people also just preferring to work at home. And it is the responsibility of the workplaces to ensure that they transition their employees or support their employees to effectively deliver in that aspect. There are also governance and ethical issues to deal with when all these emerging trends arise. Remember, we are dealing with human beings to a certain extent or to even a larger extent. So it's important that we have data security and privacy protection, and we need to protect sensitive ESG data from cyber threats. We also need to come up with systems that will ensure there is real-time threat detection. I can imagine on data security issues, I can imagine implementing or designing or helping a client to produce an ESG report. And then I come across data that is very personal and sensitive about people. And because I was reckless, it just ends up circulating in the social media platforms. That would be a big blow. So we need to be sensitive when we are dealing with that. It's an ethical consideration that we need to take into place. There's also ethical dealings in collaboration and partnerships. These help us to prevent greenwashing through technology-backed verification. Greenwashing is when one says they're doing something, yet they're not doing that. Many organizations have been saying they're eco green, this, green, that, but you actually find something that is labeled as an eco product is actually only the packaging, which is recyclable. Nothing about the product is eco. So it's important that when you make partnerships and you work and collaborate with others. All these issues are brought into consideration to ensure that we also don't drag our partners into reputational risk. I can imagine you are there, you are an innovator and your name ends up being, you provide a solution, genuinely a clean one, and your partner, be it your customer, ends up tampering with it and it has your name out there. The day they go on there's some scandal that breaks out, your name is definitely going to be dragged along. So those are issues that you need to prevent. And then we also need to use technology to drive responsible business. Responsible business is actually just a commitment that comes voluntarily, or in some instances, there are regulatory reforms that actually enforce that. So we need to ensure that technology is used to drive responsible business. In conclusion, and the key takeaways is that ESG innovation is shaping the future of responsible business, and technology is a key driver in achieving sustainability and inclusion. AI and Internet of Things improve efficiency and transparency. Therefore, ethical governance frameworks are necessary to ensure responsible business practices, ensuring the partnerships that we form in delivery of ESG and sustainability commitments are indeed not compromising any one of us or any of the stakeholders. Thank you very much.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for this very insightful session, Anatse. Guys, if you have any question, please, that is a great time to put them in the comment section so Anatse can really answer. Okay, Mai says thanks. Anatse, well, where do you see the biggest opportunities for people who are just coming into the sector to really just plug in and go immediately?
I would say right now, especially for African markets, right now we're at a point where systems are being designed. Remember that for the developed economies, ESG has been dealt with for quite some time. And every day those guys are churning out standards that we have to conform to as African markets. However, reality is some of them lack our context. So as innovators, we need to come together and say, how can we come up with something that speaks to our own context, something that speaks to what can be measurable in our own context, in our own cultural perspectives. And I always say, to a large extent, circular economy, for example, is not a new concept to us Africans. To a certain extent, our parents or just our tradition has always been secular one way or the other. It's just that we moved away from it, fetched something else. But now the influential guys are coming back and saying, let's go back to using crop manure. They are saying we should now ditch the chemical-based fertilizer. But in the past, we were using crop manure.
Yeah.
So we just need to come up with standards that are in our African context and ensure that we develop the systems that we develop, or the apps, or the softwares that we use in terms of for measurement, for reporting. They actually speak to us as Africans. Because it's different contexts for different countries. Yes. For example, we look at just the other day. I happened to be part of a panel that is overseeing the implementation of the Towards Sustainable Mining standard in Botswana. And one of the issues that came about was how the standard, because it comes from Canada, it talks about dealing with the indigenous people. For Botswana, indigenous people issue is not addressed that way because it's assumed everyone is an indigenous person. So instead, we just use a blanket term to say communities. Issues of child labor, they're not really rampant this side. So that standard will never work for us. So we need to contextualize it. It just speaks the need for contextualization too. So let's use technology and innovation to provide solutions for our markets. That would really help us a lot.
Wonderful. Context does change everything. What's applicable in the US will not be applicable in Africa or in Botswana or in South Africa or in Nigeria. So as we're thinking
Exactly.
about our
Exactly.
solutions, always trying to implement local strategies that affect the local communities that we're working within. Ayola says, is it compulsory for companies to release sustainability reports at the end of the year? And are there governing bodies that enforce companies do this?
The issue of reporting, it also comes from the motivation. One, it can be motivated by just you being wanting to voluntary reporting. However, depending on where your company is operating at and the regulatory requirements in that particular country, and over and beyond the particular country, there's also the aspect of globalization. Remember that nowadays we're looking at accessing global markets. So if you have an ESG report in place, you can easily use it to build your competitiveness and sell yourself. I can imagine you want to go and fundraise in the European markets and you have to meet these investors and you tell them, but in terms of sustainability, this is what I do. Because in some instances, it's very difficult for you to sell the balance sheet, especially when you are starting. You don't really have a very strong balance sheet to sell to investors. So instead, you sell your impact statement. You may be doing something very good. Let's say it's a social, even if it's not, you may run a business, but it may not yet be at a very highly profitable state because you want to attain growth for it, you want to fundraise, and you now package and say, from the little effort that I've done or with the resources that I had, this is the impact that I have made. Somebody can use that information to project possible future returns and future impact that you make should you be able to scale. So reporting, it's just a way of saying, hey, I'm part of the ESG agenda and it requires transparency. Your stakeholders need to know what you are doing. Let me also just blow out my trumpet. But it's important for you to blow out the trumpet on verified assertions only. Otherwise, you are doing what is called greenwashing. There was a second question that I didn't get. Oh, the bodies and the standards. In some instances, there are some bodies and that are regulating. For example, for Botswana, we have what is called the ESG disclosure guidelines. These were developed by the stock exchange. And I take it most of the stock exchanges are doing it across Africa, or they are yet to do it. It's not really compulsory yet, but they're actually pressing upon all listed companies to ensure that they disclose their ESG performances. Then the other pressure for performance reporting comes from the fact that if you look at a profession like accounting, for example, it uses international accounting standards. Within the international accounting standards, there's a need for financial reports to adopt what is called integrated reporting, where they actually disclose their sustainability journeys. So that has to be accounted for because generally we adopt international accounting standards.
Wonderful.
So even if your country doesn't have any standards, one way or the other, you have to comply to the global ones. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Nancy. This was a very insightful session. We appreciate your time. Faith asked how we can just start, how we can get into the space as beginners. And I think that Anatse said a lot about just starting, finding a problem that you want to address and applying all the things that we're learning in this boot camp to create a solution. And if you're looking for a team, I think the Capstone Project is a great place to start because I believe you're working in teams to bring something online, a solution online that will be, implementing a lot of the strategies and a lot of the solutions that have been talked about here today. There's a lot, the nuggets from Onotsi are in the comment section. So if you want to copy that to your notes, the team has done a very great job of summarizing the information that Onotsi shared here. So once again, Onotsi, thank you so much for your time. We enjoyed learning from you, and I hope you have a wonderful day.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
Bye. All
Our
right.
contacts are there. If anybody needs to reach us, they can get us on those contacts and we may advise here and there as well.
Wonderful. So if you need to reach
Thank
out,
you.
feel free to get connected with Anatsi. Wonderful. So we're going to be going
Yes,
on
thank you
to
so much.
absolutely. If please let's all remember to follow the social media handles. If the team could post them again, I know I saw them a while back. Please post the social media handles so anybody who hasn't followed or who isn't, connected can do that as well on Instagram, YouTube, X, and all the places where people connect with each other these days. Wonderful. Okay, so we're going to be moving on to our second session, and the topic is navigating ESG risks and opportunities. And for this session, we have Shewu Onigbinde, the co-founder of Budget, who will share insights on identifying and mitigating ESG risks while leveraging opportunities for innovation. As always, take notes and prepare your questions for the Q&A at the end of his talk. So if we're not too busy, just ruminating on everything that Onatsi said, please make welcome with me, Shewun Onibinde. Shewun, let's have you. We're waiting for you. Shewun, are you there? Okay, so the social medias handles are right there for everyone who wants to connect on Instagram, on Threads, and on X. Powerful. While waiting for Shewon to join us, I think what ideas do you guys are running through your minds right now based off of Onatsi's session? She talked about that idea about greenwashing. An idea that came to my mind is, just looking at several companies, because I'm a journalist, and just figuring out which company is greenwashing and which one is not, and maybe creating a dashboard to track different companies that are saying, oh, we're really focused on ESG, but they aren't really. And then also maybe doing another dashboard for companies that are actually do practicing ESG principles, but not really understanding that they should be branding their work as ESG positive, if you get what I mean. So let me know, share your ideas with me in the chat. I want to connect and, let's have oh, wonderful. There's a song group for it. Wonderful. It's as if I'm in the spirits today. Yes, that's so good. That's so good. That's so good. Any other, does anybody want to share the ideas with me in the group chats? I can just real quickly workshop it with you while we wait for Shehu. Like you guys are like, no, Eniela, we are not engaging today. Okay, let me tell you something. Last weekend was my birthday, and that's why I wasn't here. So who wants to say happy birthday? Or are you people still angry? Are you people fighting
Happy
me?
birthday.
Happy birthday. Thank you, Ronnie. I appreciate. Okay. Oh, so people like to celebrate birthdays. Tammy, thank you so much. Medina, thank you. City, thank you. Martin, thank you so
Happy
much.
birthday to you.
Hey, thanks, Ibrahim. Wonderful. Oh, y'all making me blush. What's the sustainable way I should have celebrated my birthday? I should send few chocolates. Dr. XTS, I've never seen this one before because I don't know what's in be chocolates. It's
We shall send emojis.
emojis. Yeah, send me an emoji. It's vegetable cake, I beg. The only vegetable cake I did chop now for real. Walk 20,000 steps. Ah, omo. Sustainable consumption. I'll try my best. I'll try my best to finish my food. No wastage. I'll finish every single grain of rice on the plate. So that's sustainable, no waste. Shewun, it doesn't look like we have Shewun on. Don't eat for a day. Okay, wonderful. Well, since we're waiting, Dr. MTS, please don't kill me. Keep your health fit. I should know it's for a day. Do you know what fainting is? Somebody's gonna faint. But anyway, while we're waiting for Shewon, I think this week in Nigeria, they had the okay. So Um, we're going to be taking a 5-minute report of the United Nations Climate Change Forum held in Nigeria last week. So while we're waiting for Sheung, we're just gonna have that real quick before he comes on. So I think that's gonna be taken by Olamide, I believe.
Yes, that is accurate.
Okay.
Okay, hi everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I think in India, where Dr. MTS and Sagunya is, they are about 4 hours ahead, or about 5. And I think Mali is behind. I think that Mali coming at still morning. So it's lovely to have everyone joining. And we're just going to have a real short session, just as a way of reporting to share what is actually happening on ground with the United Nations agenda, and a couple of two of the Tech for Good Africa representatives were in person at this United Nations Climate Change Forum set in Nigeria. It was a 14-hour forum, so I'm going to do my best to shorten it to 5 minutes. Okay, so has anyone heard of CBAM? I just want us to type it in the chat. If you've heard of CBAM, that's CBAM. Okay. Okay. Yeah. All right. So CBAM is Carbon Border Adjustment Mechanism, right? And the question that might be on most minds is, how does this affect anyone? So the Carbon Border Adjustment Mechanism affect anyone who is trading with Europe currently. If you've been trading with Europe as a company, as a business, as an organization, if you think that you will be trading with Europe in the next year, that's how present CBAM is, or in the next 2 years or 5 years or sometime in the future, then you want to listen. So by way of insight, I'll use an example of Nigeria. Our GDP, and we know that we need to measure away from that, but just for the sake of this report, our GDP is about 200 billion. And out of that, export is 70 billion. Now, out of that 70 billion, 30 billion is traded to the EU. So if any regulation like this CBAM, which is in actual fact, a regulation that influences any product that will be brought into the nation of the United Kingdom. So if you want to make export into Europe, then you really want to know what CBAM is about. So for Nigeria, for instance, almost 50% of our trading is with the EU. Right. So and with the United Kingdom, really. So what CBAM is a carbon tax by Europeans on any product that is brought into the nation. So whether you produced it in India or you produced it in Somalia, based on the carbon footprint of your product, there's going to be a tax on that product. That's right. So what that means is, if you're not reinventing your product lines, if you're not reinventing your products to have less footprint, then imagine that you bring a product from Ethiopia, that has a significant higher carbon footprint, by the time you're taxed, the value comes down. That's lower cost for you. That's lower revenue for you. Now, someone in India has adjusted their own matrices such that the same product has a lower carbon footprint. One, the tax that will be on it will be less than your product. So your product is already more expensive if you want to mark it up. Your revenue is already being eaten at because of taxation, and then your reputation. Because with the CBAM, there's also going to be another evaluation of the policy this May, right? And one of the things that was shared by the European delegates was to say that they would start to release some of these reports. So your reputation will be out there to say, oh, these are the people polluting the planet. So that's one thing to take note of. The second thing is how it's going to work, right? Let me just explain that real quick. So we have products like fertilizers that are being exported. We have steel that's being exported. We have aluminum being exported. The interesting thing as of today is oil and gas is not yet in that tax bracket, right? So for OPEC countries, it might seem like, oh, hallelujah, but we don't know what will happen in May, right? And as of now, that amendment that happens in May will start to take effect from January 1 to 2026. So the CBAM had been implemented. The reporting period has been ongoing from October of 2023. From January 1 of 2026, which is the anticipated report, and you want to take down some of these notes, you can check online as well. So you can give a copious note to your companies. For those who are in manufacturing, if your company does export, you want to start to alert your companies that the need to reduce your carbon footprint, especially on even your final end product, is now more expedient, right? The third thing now is also for countries that have carbon taxation in country. So there are the companies that have their ETS route live already. With the CBAM, if the taxation on your product in the country is maybe $10 on a ton, right? And the EU's markup is 20 euros per ton, you're going to pay the difference. So there'll be a marginalized difference between what the EU is charging and what you've charged in the country, and you're still going to pay that. So part of the feedback we gotten right there was that all of this will be on a blockchain to track the carbon tax. There's also going to be the insights to socialize MSMEs. So if there are people on here that are thinking, I know I read Faith say, how do we enter? An aspect could be socialization, where you actually start to train MSMEs and you can collaborate. I know that there's some capstone projects where you need to come up with, I think, orientation programs or something like this. This is a market that in the next 1, 2, 3 years will start to expand so much. So we need to start thinking of how we want to train the MSMEs so they know what the impact is. We want to also train companies, for instance, so they know what the impact is. As of today, the carbon pricing in the US is about $70 a ton, roughly. In China, is about $20 a ton. Some of the other discussions deliberated on how to reconcile the market, how to have, say, a global carbon pricing metric. So that's also an insight that we can take away from this session and start to think around, okay, I know that next week we're going to have one of the carbon experts who was also present with us at the deliberations, who will speak with us around this, around carbon pricing, carbon credits, and carbon trading. So this is also a way that you can start to think about an entrepreneurial way of thinking about the CBAM and how you can play into it. So that is it from us in a nutshell. We would also just share a bit of a nugget with everyone so you can position accurately. Thank you, everyone.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Olamide, for sharing that with us. So for the enterprising ones here, that is insider information. And that if you're an early mover on this, I think that the profits or the revenues that you're going to be able to save or make your company, this is when you now begin to negotiate that, okay, or madam, I just heard this information. And if we can move first, we're going to be able to make a significant amount of money just on making a product that is more carbon efficient. It's good for the company, but most importantly, it's good for the environment. And that's perfect. That sounds like why we're here, okay? Let us know what you think about the CBAM. Is it good? Yeah, you like, why are they doing too much? If you're like, why are they doing too much? I'm going to ask you, why are you here? So don't say anybody's doing too much, okay? CBAM in a nutshell. Thank you so much from Dr. MTS. Wonderful. We're still waiting on our next speaker. So if you can just give us a few minutes to get the 411, the latest on when we can expect him to hop on the call this morning, that would be great because I'm really looking forward to hearing from him. But while people are waiting to be let in, I think that this is a perfect time. Okay. Please, can you please let in anyone who's in the waiting room? And then we can go ahead and move on. Okay, jokes. All right, we're going to be going into our breakout sessions for the capstone projects to discuss and to learn from each other. So are we going to be joining the rooms automatically? Are you sending us to the rooms? Okay, wonderful. So the breakouts is to help you cement whatever it is that you have been discussing within your WhatsApp groups, and so that you can be ready to have the best or one of the best projects in the cohorts. So that's what the breakout session is going to be about. Now, mind you, you have to submit your first slides by Wednesday for review. So get to work, okay? This is very important time. I think it's going to be about 15 minutes in the breakout rooms. So let's do that. And I will see you once we are back from the breakout session. I still see everybody on my screen. What's happening? Are we going to the breakout rooms?
Shouldn't it be pulling us automatically?
Mm-hmm. I think the team is still working on it. Yes. Okay, so it's gonna pop up on your screen. You're gonna see join breakout room. So just give us a second. We're working on it. you want to ask a question about CBAM, I'm going to say less, because they're working to make sure that we get into the breakout rooms. I don't know if they're going to be able, Olamide is going to be able to answer the CBAM question right now, Honorable. So if we can save the question, and then when we come back from the breakout session, then we can ask the CBAM question. Or you can also just leave it here, and then when we come back, we'll ask it. Okay, you can ask it, and then when we come back, we can answer whenever. Right? Thank you, Honorable T. Okay, can you see join a breakout room now?
It disappeared.
Okay. Okay, go to, do you guys see more? Oh, it disappeared, truly. Okay, yeah. Do you guys see more on your screens? Yeah, once the time is up, we'll kick you out of the rooms. It's supposed to be in for 15 minutes. So it's on the screen. So choose your breakout room: Ambassador Energy, Ambassador Education, Ambassador Data, Media, Digital Design, Education, Energy, Partner Media, Partner Data. Okay, I see people moving into their breakout rooms now. Wonderful. There's nobody in Leader Design, nobody in Leader Digital, nobody in Leader Media. Are you guys there? Mike, how do you enter the room? Do you see a pop-up on your screen about breakout rooms? Okay. There's no link, Jonas. It's just right on your screens. You should see something called join breakout room. It's like 4 boxes, 3 empty boxes and 1 box that's colored white. So there's still 40 people here. There should only be 1, me. It disappeared. Okay. Are you on your laptop, Mike, or are you on your phone? Which one should I join? What team are you working on, Alice? Are you on WhatsApp on any WhatsApp group? Jonas can't access. You can't access the breakout room. Okay, Mike can see it now. Wonderful.
I can take a short description just to help Alice, and also if there's anyone wondering what subgroup they should join. So there is the PAL system, and I'm guessing maybe you missed week 1 and you've not been able to catch up. So PALS is Partner, Ambassador, and Leaders for Sustainability, right? So if you're an ambassador, it means you're a university student or fresh graduate, or you're new to either of the ethos. So our ethos at Tech for Good Africa is E equals to MD cube. That's energy, education, equals to media, data, digital, and design. So what you've seen as the subgroups are 18 of them. So you can be an ambassador in energy, an ambassador in education or data, etc. So as soon as you sort of thought around, as soon as you've thought about where you fall into, the team is going to share just now the capstone project links, so you can join the WhatsApp that suits you better. So if, for instance, you've done, I think it was Ruda last week, and she's had about 10 years of experience. However, she joined I think ambassador group, and by the time she attended the clarity session, she saw that she was no ambassador, she was a leader. So for a leader, you've probably used like 5-10 years in your chosen field. For you to be a partner means you probably have a company that you run, a business that you run, and then you can stay in that position as a partner. So Alice, does that help you?
Alamide.
Yes, I'm here.
In ambassador design, there's only one person. In partner energy, there's only one person. In partner design, there's only one person. And
Okay.
there are still 40 people on this main
Yeah.
call. So
So
I'm
for-
wondering what Wendy is doing. Okay, hi. What are you doing here? I'm just going to be calling everybody out now. Ndebo gang, Belinda, Amon, Alice. If you don't want me to call your name, please let me go to your breakout session. Kareem, Nahum, Agatha, Anela, Aziz, Alo, Jordan. Then let's just be going to our breakout sessions. Mba, Wems, Elba, Medina Tusa. Why are you here? Discussions are going on. Yeah. You're not there. Okay, now. All right. Who else can I call? Lulu, Leslie. Okay, yeah, I'm gone. Mba Acha, Miriam Damilola, Ibrahim, Desi. Why are you still here? Desi, why are you here? If you have a problem, let us know so we can quickly get you into your breakout rooms. Because I think we only have 10 minutes in the breakout rooms left right at the moment. Aziz, are you online? Wait, are you people here? Are you not here? Ibrahim, how do we join the breakout room? We listen, we don't judge, Medinat. All right. So do you see join breakout room on your laptop screen? Are you on your laptop or are you on your phone? There are still 20 people that should not be on this main call still here. Ibrahim, how can I help you? What do you need? Can you drop a comment in the chat? Can you drop a chat in the comment section? And table gang, Kareem Tawash, Nahum, yes, you here. Your team members are waiting for you. Hello. Hello. Jordan. Aramide. Uh-huh. Yeah, here twice. Are you joining on two different? Daryl, do you need help? Okay. Lovely. Aram. Do you need any help, Mona? Perfect. Okay, I like what I'm seeing. There's still like 15 people that should not be here that are here. So, somebody came back. Ibrahim, Daryl. Why are you guys coming back? Is it over? Aram, are you good? You're celebrating, but you're still here. You didn't go to breakout session.
I don't know what's happening. No, I just joined.
You just joined.
Yeah.
All right. So, do you have your WhatsApp group?
No.
Oh, are you a beginner in ESG, or do you have some experience, or are you like an expert?
I'm a beginner. I just received the email and I joined the meeting.
Okay, lovely. I think, are you interested in, so do you see the different breakout rooms that are there? If you click on join breakout rooms.
Yeah, I can see.
So you have to join any of the ambassador groups. So if you're interested in design or digital or media or data or education or energy, you can choose whatever is speaking to you and then join that breakout room for a discussion real quick.
Okay. Am I limited to only the ambassador, or I can pick from partner, leader, and all that?
Yes, only ambassador, because you're still coming, you're just learning about ESG at the moment. So those will be the groups where people are also beginning in ESG.
Okay. Kindly tell me the difference between ambassador data and then the media.
All right, over to Olamide, please. Kindly tell her.
Okay, so the difference between which ones now?
Data
The
and media
media.
Okay,
ambassador.
okay, so media is traditional, well, not traditional, but media in the sense of communication, coming up with, would I say, policy, advocacy, and how you want to reach the people. And then data is data in the sense of you collect the information you have on ESG. So one of the subgroups, and earlier, I think you missed that because of the time you were going. Earlier we were speaking to one of the subgroups working on an investigative journalism report. So it's a collaboration between data and media to get this report and come up with, say, a dashboard, right? So the dashboard aspect of it will be digital. So digital is almost like how you provide digital solutions and what have you. So to do that, you then need to decide what is your strength currently. So if your strength is a media person or personality, or you do digital marketing, or you're interested in advocacy, policy, then you want to join media, but you're still an entry level, you don't have like 10 years experience or more, or you don't have your own media company. So if you had your own media company, then you'll be a partner. If you have 10 plus years of experience in media, then you'll be a leader. But if you're an entry level, then you are an ambassador. So if you're in the energy space as well and you're entrant level, you're a student or you're a fresh graduate, then you're an ambassador. If you're in the educational space as well, and you don't own your own school, you've not done 10 years of education, you're still new in the educational space, then you're an ambassador. And then same goes for data, design, digital, and media. Does that explain?
Yes, please, it's explained. Thank you.
And what group would you want to join?
I fit in both education and media. I'm yet to choose.
Okay,
Or I can join both.
so I recommend to join one. Why we do that is so that you can maximize your impact.
Okay.
Because, for instance, next week you're going to be submitting your first 5 slides. And by February, I think 5th, I believe you're going to be making the final presentation, and your scoring and rating the program is over. You're getting like 3 pages in the progress, and that determines how you graduate your final grades. So where you think that you would make the most impact. Okay, so you add into your
Pardon?
are you going into your breakout room now?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, see you then.
See you.
Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back. I hope we all had a great conversation in our respective breakout rooms. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Let's just give people a few more seconds to come in. I think it takes about a minute for everyone to be kicked out of their breakout sessions. And once we come in, can we also mute our mics? Sheon, can you please mute your mic? Wonderful. Thank you so much. Okay, I think we're still waiting for about 20 people to join back in from the breakout rooms. Okay, jokes. Wonderful. I hope you guys had a great conversation in your breakout rooms and you were able to figure out the solutions that you're going to be working on. And don't forget, the first slides are due on Wednesday. So let's get working, okay? Wonderful. So we are moving on to our final session for today. And we're talking about the interplay between mental health and sustainability in ESG in tech. And our
You say
final
it sometimes, like when you type.
hi, Daryl. Wonderful. Our final session is with Lady Diana Eyo Enoet, who will explore the fascinating connection between mental health and sustainability within the ESG framework. Now, this is a unique perspective that adds depth to our understanding of ESG. So let's give her our full attention. Let's take notes. Let's ask questions if we have them. But most importantly, as she's talking, be thinking about how can I apply the things that Lady Diana is talking about. So without further ado, let's all make welcome Lady Diana. Let me see the welcome signs in the chat, the emojis.
Hello, 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 everyone.
Hi, Lady Diana. How are you?
Hi, everyone.
Where
Happy
are
to
you
be
joining
here.
us from today?
Abuja.
Abuja. Lovely. Good to have you with us.
Good to be here. It's one of those days that Airpiece was just nice, luckily. So I literally just walked in from the airport. I'm gonna trying to move to my laptop so I can. I'll probably just try it here. Let's see. So yes, so good afternoon, everyone. Sorry, I was literally on a Zoom where we were from different countries, so you have to think before you say what. Good morning, good afternoon, hello, everybody.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff.
It's kind of the same way here because we have people from all over as well. India, South Africa,
there you
Botswana.
go. There you
So
go.
that's the
Greetings,
privilege of
everyone,
Zoom.
as it applies to your location.
Yeah.
Right. Can you still hear me? Can I go ahead and
Yes, we can hear
share my
you.
screen?
People are saying hello, Lady Diana from
I think you can hear
Warri.
any.
So there we were with you.
It has wondering if anyone else can hear me.
Mai says hi.
Okay.
Gloria Son says loud and clear.
Oh, great. Great. I am going to move around this and go try share my screen. Right. Okay, so interesting topic. So I'm going to try and knock it off in the easiest way. Sorry, if you give me a minute. I want to move to my laptop to stop. You know what? Let's just go ahead. This will only take me less than 30 minutes. So I'm sure you can see my slides, so I'm just going to go ahead. I'm sure the first thing that comes to our mind is, why are we even discussing mental health when we're talking about ESG? What is even the connection? We're all tech people here. We know the business. So what are we talking about? Why should organizations think about mental health when they're thinking about sustainability? Why should individuals think about mental health when they're thinking about, sustainability, environment, when they're thinking about governance, right? Now almost everybody these days, good thing, one of the good things that COVID left for us is that almost everybody these days knows about mental health, right? So I'm pausing because I wanted to know if someone was trying to send me a message from the team. Okay, so almost everybody these days knows about mental health, and we know it's how you feel, it's how you think, it's about how you relate to others, it's about how you make constructive decisions. It's about that overwhelming, just bringing it down, you know to the most simplest way. It's about that overwhelming feeling that you can't seem to shake off. That's really what it's about. So does everybody feel anxiety at some point in their lives? Does everybody feel some sort of depression at some point in their life? The answer is yes. Is grief going to be painful? Are you going to think that the world is coming to an end? The answer is yes. However, when that particular emotions, when you can no longer control it, or it overwhelms you, or it lingers for a certain period of time, where it now affects the way you relate with people, the way you think. For some people, it goes as far as having suicidal thoughts, or it affects the decisions that you need to make at your place of work, then we have a problem. Yeah, that's the easiest way that I can, quickly explain, put that together. Now, ESG, we know we're talking about the environment, we're talking about social, and we're talking about governance, yeah? And a lot of you that are here, either experts in the topic, or already know the topic, or already, or are learning the topic. Now, when we talk about the environment, we're talking about reducing carbon footprint. As a sustainability expert and a development person, I know this topic too well, but that is not the angle in which I'm coming to this, so I'm not going to stay there. When we talk about the social part of the ESG, we're talking about how companies, treat their employees, how they support communities where they work in, how they promote diversity and inclusion, both in community engagement and society engagement and their staff. Then the governance, obviously, the ethical leadership, transparency, accountability, and blah, blah, blah. How does this align with, how does ESG organizations align with the global goals? How do they build? Why are we talking about ESG? How do you build trust? How do you attract responsible investors into your organization if you're a business? And if you're one looking to be an expert in this topic, and you walk into a room and you say, I'm an ESG expert, how do you transmit this to the relevance of your subject to organizations, to dealing with individuals, to governance, even as the person who runs an organization is in a leadership position in an organization? And in all of this, my take today is, how does your mind play a significant role in sustainability, in ESG, in ethical leadership? How does your mind play? What role does your mind play? Now let's look at that ESG framework. Yeah. Now, our environment affects our mind. I can't process anything if I walk into a room or the weather is too cold. Temperature in a room in any meeting, means a lot to me as a person. If it's too cold, I'm sorry, I will not function. It sounds a bit weird, but personally, I would be able to pull off functioning in a room that is warm, but I would not be able to pull it off in a room that is too cold. So our environment affects our mental health. Now, all of this climate change we're talking about, all of the natural disasters, what is happening in Florida now, that's an example of how, the environment can flip our lives around and stress us, right? Now, in Nigeria, it's extremely hot. Particularly in Abuja, in Nigeria, it's extremely hot. Now, imagine driving in this heat. Probably your AC in your vehicle is not working. Some driver is getting on your last nerves. How do you stay stable in that kind of environment, it's very hard. Now, mental health as a social responsibility, aligning mental well-being with the social pillar of the ESG ensures that there's inclusive and supportive environment, ensures that as an employer, you think about your staff's productivity from the fact that a happy employee is an employee that delivers. I don't know how to put it. I know that the mantra or the corporate tagline is, leave your problems at home when you come to work. But the reality is that we can't, there is the super people, there is suppressing it. You can probably suppress it. I'm not saying bring your problems to work. You can suppress it, but you can't leave it at home and come to work. It's not possible. And then when you do suppress it, you are spending a lot of your energy doing that activity of suppressing it. And that level of energy you're giving to it is going to show in the level of energy that your office is receiving. Your productivity can never be 100% if you're spending 40 suppressing what you're going through. That's why it's important that even though the core of this training is ESG, but how does it align? Impact of productivity. I think I've already said that in the workplace. Foundation for sustainable action. People with good mental health are more likely to engage in eco-friendly behaviors and contribute to community development. I'll tell you this in the most practical way. There's a project that we do in my office called the SDG Community Worker. And what we're doing with that is to create awareness, build knowledge, and measure behavior. We are building knowledge, measuring behavior, and assessing needs. Now, in an attempt to build knowledge and measure behavior, we've had cases where you find out that the government or some philanthropic organization or an NGO has brought a specific service, and there is a sign that, for instance, there was a solar-powered borehole in this particular community. We can see the structure of the borehole. We can see that there was something here. We can't find the solar panel anymore. We can't find the what's it called, the water reservoir anymore. And it's the community that vandalized that development that was brought to them. So I am a very strong believer that if people do not believe and understand the value and their contribution and the need for their ownership of development, then it can never be sustained. Yeah. So that is why addressing mental health, addressing how people think, transforming minds, addressing trauma, community traumas, addressing these things is very key if you want to succeed. So even if you were an ESG expert in an organization and you're doing all the right things at that organization level to successfully engage and get results, both for your organization and for the community, you need to know the mindset and address the mindset of the people in that community. So mental health is critical in achieving sustainable growth. It is critical in for every organization to imbibe mental health as they implement their ESG strategies. Organizations cannot achieve what they want in their existing environment if they do not understand what controls the mind of the people in that environment. Say, for instance, you're an oil company and you want to go into a community, you want to drill and you want to do all the right things. You've done all the paperwork, you have policy in place, you have government in place. But the bottleneck you will deal with as it relates to how the community engages you, welcomes you, collaborates with you, has to do with their mental health. So as an ESG expert, you also have to be an expert in your own understanding your mental limitations, ensuring that your organization understand what it means for there to be mental resilience amongst the staff and caring for their minds, and understanding how your organization would thrive if the communities and individuals and the people that you are collaborating with you are able to an extent to one, understand and see how you can support their mental health. So the ESG social pillar emphasizes on fostering environments where individuals and communities can flourish. People cannot flourish if they are not in the right mental state. It doesn't matter how much money they earn or they are given. It doesn't matter what prosperity or development looks like. We've had very prominent, influential people commit suicide. And people have asked the question, why would Michael Jackson take his life? Mental health. Right. What's the benefit of mental health for individuals and organizations? So for you as a person, it improves your creativity and your innovation level. A healthy mind fosters fresh ideas, essential for sustainability. Like I said, I was just in the class or coming out, and we're talking about how we, as a country, and I'm going to use Nigeria as an example, we are very good at bringing out fresh graduates every other day, but we have not harnessed the power of what is the essence of studying engineering. If you are not one of the few people looking for engineering solutions to our problem, everybody goes to school, studies to come and be employed or to be fixed back into the system. So these are things we need to think about. And for some people, it's because of the mental state that the society has put them, the limitations where, once you finish NYSC, you finish school, just get a job. It feels safe. And also some people, it's trauma, economic trauma. How am I going to survive? How is this going to happen? Some is just trauma from how they were trained. And it's what we call a safe space trauma. What is more safe is what I'm going to do. It also helps you, obviously, when you are mentally stable, to focus, and it helps your resilience level. Mental stability helps individuals to adapt to change and also stay committed to the goal. So if you're an ESG expert in your organization, and let's say you had something you were dealing with, and by the time you get to work, you're talking about ESG, you can't put it together. You will not be able to focus and achieve anything. Now, mental challenges among the youth. I picked this slide because I know that a lot of us here are young people. There's increasing pressure in societal expectation and digital connection. I was at the NYC camp yesterday talking about mental health and sustainability to some core members. And a young girl in her 20s came up with this question that, in fact, when she was done, the first thing that came out of my mouth was, "I'm sorry." And she said, we're living in a society where we have passions. A lot of us want to be innovative. We want to make changes. We want to look for solutions to problems. But there is financial demands. And when it's sad, we're in a generation where if you bring 50 youths here, at least 50% of those youths are already being given financial, already contributing to their family's financial needs. And this doesn't mean that they are married. I mean, they are immediate family. They're already maybe giving their parents money, supporting with the rent. That's unfortunate. It didn't used to be this way years ago, but sadly, at least when I was in university, I was still getting money from home, right? So that's the sad reality. Then there is even the bigger reality of social media pressure. My core member was leaving the NYC, passing out in January here, and as she was stepping out of the office for her passing out, she said to me, "Oh ma, I just want to ask you a question. I don't know if something is wrong with me. I feel a bit off." Why do you feel off? She said, "Well, I just noticed that a lot of core members are having photo shoots. They've gone to do their makeup and they're kind of posting like beautiful pictures for whatever." So I said to her, well, of 10 of them that you might have seen on their status right now, I can almost assure you that only one of them has secured a job after NYC. You are literally just going to pick up a certificate. You already have a job, so do not go under that pressure. And whether we like it or not, just scrolling to our phones, we already, even as leads of organizations or young people, we are continuously, consciously or unconsciously, continuously evaluating ourselves. A lot of people are right now, today, the 1st of February, are reevaluating the goals that they've put in January, not because they haven't done all the work, SMART goals, put the timelines, but unconsciously, social media, burnout and pressure is unconsciously making people think that they are not, oh, January is gone, there's that pressure. I'm staying here because this is truly the essence of this conversation, because as organizations, there are times where we are also in a rush and we don't realize it, that we are in a social media rush. There's ESG is a new buzz thing. We need to catch up with it. We need to align with sustainability, that we forget that we've already given our staff enough to worry about, including the realities of the economy, that we don't take a step back to think about, what this can do. If a staff or a structure, and I can even use mental health for a structure. If a structure is not built in an organization or in your lives as young people or as individuals to think about yourself, as it says in the Holy Bible, love your neighbor as you love yourself. That bit we always, even in being humanitarian and doing the right thing for the world, we seem to forget that it's as you love yourself. So as what's going to make this, why the organizers think that you needed to listen to this, whether you're a young person or an organization, is that as a change agent, young people need to bring creativity and passion and a fresh perspective to everything as it relates to sustainability efforts. You can't do that. I can't say that enough. If you are not mentally stable, if you look like this lovely girl right here, who is probably just scrolling to Instagram and she's seen one of her mates design a flyer and now say they are a life coach, and that person is still in her 20s or 30s. I can't say enough of this in every training. Please, if you're not yet in your 40s or 50s, please don't say you're a life coach. Don't do it. You're not a coach. Coach experience. I don't want to deviate. So she's probably looking at it, thinking she's wasting her life. She's probably reading an email from work, wondering, don't these guys just get this? I'm going through a breakup, my relationship is not working, or my finances, this salary is not even meeting, my actual needs. And, and the weather is so hot, there is no light in the house. Anything can be going wrong here. So we need to think about this, as not just, a lot of organizations think about mental health as a long-term goal, as something we will do at the end of the year, as something we do as our mid-year review. But this needs to be embedded in everything that you do, even as a ESG operating organization. How mental well-being supports long-term sustainable actions. I think I have said this in different ways, but it helps us to actively engage in this sustainable initiative. It helps us innovate solutions to our problems. Now, if you are an organization, it's safe to say here that your reputation internationally would stand out if you start to not just think about ESG, because the world is going towards everything sustainable, environmental, and think about your governance structure. But if you start to embed in it, the mental well-being of your staff, and also you attract not just more responsible investors, but I promise you will attract more responsible employees who feel a part of your vision, like the people you see up there who are excited about their work, who are happy to be at work. Yeah. And so as part of your regulatory compliance, it also helps to build your business resilience in this time and age where people are more aware, in this time and age where people can, flip up on it. People are so aware that they can actually resign from a job without giving it a second thought. And all you hear is that my mental health is priority to me. Organizations need to protect themselves and enhance themselves by thinking about the mental well-being of their staff. Now, a few strategies for integrating mental health into ESG in whatever level, whether as an individual or as an organization, is, develop ESG framework with mental health KPIs involved, track and improve mental well-being alongside environmental and governance targets. Collaborate with experts in organizations like us, like me, partner with organizations that are centered on SDGs, that are focused on mental well-being and sustainable mental health, and have us come in and create a support system or a simple structure. Maybe just teaching your working through breathing exercises with your team members, and that will make a difference. You would not imagine how starting a board meeting that would take forever with a 10 minutes or 20 minutes breathing exercise. You cannot imagine how much difference it will make. Promote wellness through initiatives in your organization, wellness day, stress management workshops. Don't wait for, like I said, mid-year or quarter year. Just do a well-being Friday. You bring the speaker, do a breathing exercise for 30 minutes, do a day where people come smart to work, and that morning start with a simple what you call a warm-up exercise. There's several things that you can just do as an organization. You can also be seen to, as your corporate social responsibility, funding activities, green and healthy workspaces. And this for me is as simple as putting a flower pot in your office, ensuring that there are significant flower pots and fresh flowers, by the way, in the offices. So implement, obviously, eco-friendly designs that prioritize physical, not just physical, but also, mental support. So this is directed to the young people here as youth with strong mental health and ESG knowledge. Now, this is two things in one. You have a fresh perspective of innovation. You see, you know that if you're working on a project and you can't seem to, or you're writing a document, or you are writing it, or you're coming up with a code, a tech thing, and you can't seem to go beyond a particular place, and you've been struggling through it for 30 minutes, for 1 hour, and you're having a block, maybe you need a walk. 20 minutes walk. Maybe you need to go into the restroom, wash your face with the running tap, leave the tap running. I'm not here to do that therapeutic support, so I might not be able to teach you all of that. But when you leave a running tap has a support, it works on a way it works on your mind. So if you go into the restroom the next time to ease yourself, turn on the tap, sit there for more than you need to. There's this thing we do. We even rush. We rush everything, and we even rush out of the restroom. Sit there for a little bit longer, just 5 minutes longer, 10 minutes longer. Take deep breaths. Let the tap run at the same time as you do what you need to do. Take deep breaths in. Let the tap run. I promise you'll be more refreshed. You can try. Do two things. Do the first one where you actually go and do this, what I just said, and go in the next time and do your normal routine and come out. And then tell yourself how you feel. You will feel much better. You will feel, when you have such block, just turn off the system. And if you have a flower in your office, why not just stare at it and take deep breaths for 2 minutes, 5 minutes? These things make a difference. And you'll be surprised at the level of innovation and thinking. You would think and come up with better projects and papers or presentations than that person who burnt the midnight candle and didn't take a minute to actually think about their own well-being. Ethical, obviously, your approach will be more ethical and social responsible. Your strategies will definitely align with the sustainable development goals because you are now more informed. Embracing mental health and ESG as a sustainability tool. Sustainability is not just a feel-good initiative. It's not a if you know subject. It's not an elitist subject. It's everybody's subject. Whatever part of the world you are in now, all of us are having extremes of what our climate or our weathers are supposed to be. So it is that running tap. It is that energy that you can conserve in your house that you're not saving. It is all of the actions that we're taking. It's that plastic that you're not reusing when you can actually reuse it. So it's strategic that drives innovation, builds resilience, and delivers measurable outcomes. That's what it is. When you can bring your mental well-being to a stable state, and you can combine this with ESG, sustainability becomes what we'll call voila. Yeah. So as I conclude, these are some of the things I want us to take away for integrating mental health and ESG. We need to have clear purpose as organizations or individual. Stability and mental well-being must be intentional and not an afterthought. Self-care cannot only be because it's your birthday, because it's Valentine's Day, just because you are on a vacation. It has to be intentional. Organizations cannot wait for quarterly retreats to think about the well-being, if they even do. It has to be intentional. I can't remember at the top of my finger now, but I know an organization or a few organizations, I think particularly the UN organizations, who I'm sorry, can we still see my screen? This is why I like to use my laptop. Can we still hear me, please?
Yes,
I will need
we can.
feedback at this point. Okay, good. Thank you. I see there are some organizations who actually, at the end of work time, they actually, what's it called, log you off your laptops. So you can't use your work laptop when you are supposed to have closed, right? There are some organizations who have put these policies in place, who have put this system in place as part of work-life balance, mental well-being. You can't use your work laptop after your working hours, at least 30 minutes or so after working hours. Your work laptop is going to shut down. And because most of us will do almost all our work things in one system, yeah, a lot of people are forced to then, except you're an extremist about doing this work, you are forced to shut down. And then some organizations have rules where staff cannot engage or reply or send work-related emails during a weekend, during their vacations and things like that. So we need to be intentional. View sustainability as a driver of innovation and not a competitive advantage. So don't add SDGs, ESG to your organization policies or the things you are doing. A lot of people are reframing their NGOs, their goals, their objectives, just throwing it into the paperwork, basically, just because it makes you, it fits right, it gives you an advantage. Be intentional about it, about the true essence of it. Integrate ESG principles into every aspect of life and business. Also, thinking about ESG and mental health, it fosters transparency. When we say there will be shared goals, we're not just talking about documentation. We're saying when people feel mentally protected and safe, they will feel a part of your vision. It collaborates with NGOs, industries, and government to accelerate the progress, and then invest in innovative research, collect resources from research and development, and to align everything you do should just align with the mind and sustainability, especially when it comes to consumers' needs. I'm seeing two things on my screen, not sure why, sorry. Right, your mental health is your greatest asset. If you didn't hear anything I said, your mental health is your greatest asset. The mental health of your staff is your organization's greatest asset. By prioritizing it, you have empowered yourself to be a catalyst for meaningful change. As future ESG experts, current ESG experts, your well-being will be the compass that guides your creativity, your resilience, and your long-term success. So let's build a sustainable world one that starts with a balanced and healthy you. The future belongs to businesses that prioritize people, planet, and progress as one and the same. By investing in mentally resilient, ESG savvy youth and employees, we are investing in a better tomorrow. Thank you so much for listening. And thank you for your time in your organization and in your corner. Make sure ESG and mental health is inseparable by aligning purpose to profit. Now, align purpose to profit always. Any questions? Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Lady Diana, for this very actionable presentation. It was great to see how mental health applies to our ESG conversation. So if anybody has any questions in the chat, please feel free to share it. I know somebody was like, oh, running the tap, isn't that contrary to our ESG principles of conservation?
Okay. I mean, I can answer that. Like I said, if I was speaking on, it's funny. If I was speaking on SDGs and saying how we're conserving and saving everything, I say don't keep the tap running if you don't need it. The key thing there is if you don't need it, you're running the tap at that point because you need it. You're not wasting the water. You are absorbing that sound because you need that sound right now to stabilize your mind. I've had experts say, why don't I just go on YouTube and say water sound, water playing sound, rain falling sound? At that point, we're trying to take you off the screen. We're trying to take you off the immediate. We're trying to make you absorb and enjoy the environment at that moment. I said 5 minutes. Running the tap for 5 minutes is not going to change the world. These days, when we wash our hands for almost 5 minutes and all that, I'm just saying that 5 minutes is not a waste because that's an investment in your mental health. That's an investment in your well-being. That's the 5 minutes that makes you walk back into that boardroom meeting or back on your system, and you don't know why. You just get it's a caffeine for your mind. I promise you, it works every time.
Wonderful. I don't see any other questions in the chat, so I'm gonna say thank you. I really liked it. Prioritizing people should be at the top of our minds as we're creating the solutions for ESG and the future of ESG. Lady Diana, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
I hope you have a great rest of your day. I know you just came in, so please go rest.
Thank you.
And do what you need to do.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Bye-bye.
Bye. So a few announcements before we head out for today. Now this is only a snippet of what is available in the full access bootcamp. And for the full access bootcamp, you're going to get to collaborate with the Lagos state government, and you'll work on real life sustainability scenarios, gaining practical insights and hands-on experience. We'll also help you leverage our partnership with Getting Edu to receive guidance on applying for fully funded PhD opportunities. And then we're also going to be able to provide you support and access to be part of the statewide sustainability efforts in the US, expanding your global impact. And of course, you're going to have access to comprehensive case studies so you can learn from detailed analysis of successful ESG implementations across various industries. We're also going to be sending you an exclusive ESG glossary with the full bootcamp experience so you can enhance your knowledge with a 200-word glossary designed by ESG leaders, providing clarity on key concepts. Also, there are dedicated WhatsApp groups so you can stay connected with your peers and facilitators for continuous learning and collaboration all through the week. So it's not only on Saturdays that you're going to be learning. If you're in the full boot camp, you're going to have access to the trainers, to the facilitators all through the week to answer any questions that you may have while you're navigating work. Of course, you also receive a rating upon completion, showcasing your expertise in sustainability. And so you're going to be recognized as an eco leader. And we also have a few recruitment opportunities to share with our participants. And so you'll be able to participate in a specialized recruitment exercise for green auditors, including professional CV reviews. There's going to be full access to teachings, so you can dive deeper into all of the bootcamp content beyond just the highlights or the snippets. And of course, we're going to give you access to replays as well. Oh, and we're going to give priority access to ATLA for people who subscribe to the full bootcamp, as well as, of course, global networking opportunities. We've already seen some of those here. We've seen Onatsi from Botswana. We just spoke with Lady Diana from Abuja, Nigeria. These are all connections that you can make your own. Reach out to them on LinkedIn, connect with them, share what you thought was most impactful from their sessions. And every speaker that we bring here, try to connect with them as well. And we'll also give you opportunities to strengthen your professional profile with a certification and hands-on experience gained through the boot camp. And now that's going to be through the capstone project. Okay. Wonderful. Those are all the announcements. Olamide, are there any other announcements that you have, or are we good?
Yes, we are good, actually. I think we'll just
Wonderful. Somebody asked, what's ATLA?
that's the African Technology Leadership Academy. We will hear more about it from next week, actually.
Okay. Wonderful.
So we can really practice our mental health learnings. I think we've been here for about 2 hours. So we can,
Okay. So if anyone needs assistance or if you have any questions, please reach out to the team. We're all here to help you get the most out of this experience. You can check the chat box, and there are a number of links there for your use, especially our social media handles. But if you want to send an email, you can do that at that's techforgoodafrica.org. And you can also follow us on social media, send a DM, whatever works for you. Thank you everyone for being active participants in today's session. And I hope that it has inspired you to think critically about the role of ESG in technology. Now let's continue to share and learn and innovate as we move forward in this boot camp. And we'll see you in the next session. Where can we find the assignments for week 2? Olamide, do you want to take that?
It's your capstone participation. So once this first phase, which is the general access, so everyone is in the general access now. And you'll have 10, so your attendance in week 1, your assignment in week 1, your attendance in week 2, participation in the capstone project counts as your assignment for week 2 because we don't want to overextend anyone. So your attendance for this week 3, and your contribution in the capstone project for this week is your assignment for this week, right? Then attendance for week 4 and your active contribution in contributing to the capstone again counts as your assignment for week 4, and then we have week 5. So you're being measured currently. One moment, please. So everyone is being measured and rated based off of your engagement. All of these are also being rated, actually. So your engagement, and one of the things we've done, I don't know if we've all gotten that email, is to make a supplementary access available for weeks 1 and 2. So it's an exclusive for those in the full access, but you just by way of committing to you, we've made that available. So if you couldn't get in the live session for week 1 and 2, that has been made available, and the full access, like she earlier mentioned, will run from March 1st till 29th. So you'd have a session on Saturday, which is immersive, and on Tuesday, and then Thursday. Yeah, we will take the selfie, Stephen. Thank you. So yeah, you'll have those links later in the week. So let's just take the time to really focus on okay, so you can make the payment in your own currency. It's $100. So most of other ESG full access bootcamps are like $1,000 and what have you. But we're leveraging quite a number of the partnerships we have to make it available to everyone at that cost. So it's $100. You can make the payment anywhere between now and when it opens up. 1st of March. So we're trying to curate the experience for everyone. I think another thing that's exciting to look forward to is we're going to be sharing the videos for those who have graciously shared their experiences from week 1 and week 2. We will be sharing, so look out for yourself on the socials. And we'll also be sharing your unique poster, just so everyone can see that you're taking that step. And you never know who's leaking on your LinkedIn, and it's just that makes a difference. So thank you guys for your time. Next week's session is off the chains. So we're actually having a triple header. So I think the session next week, we've really been trying to not overextend the time, but I think we should almost around this time every time. So next week, we're having a representative from the Lagos State government speak with us briefly. We're having the lady from the carbon market speak with us. Like I mentioned earlier, we were together at the United Nations deliberation during the week. So you'd hear that firsthand. And we're having the Echo app launch. So I'm sure you've seen that somewhere in the benefits, and you can actually, we would have that session in class. So reach out to your allies to make sure they are in class. So I will pass it on now. Yes, my Ahmed, I am interested as well, and she's going to do her best to give an introduction and entrance insight. We're going to have a full on in the full access and just really dive in, do some of the calculations with us. We really want everyone to leave and then you are assured that you can do this for yourself. You can offer it as a service. You can do it for your company. And another thing I forget to ask is the SEC will be making it compulsory. Nigeria has signed it into law from 1st of January 2026. Every company has to have an ESG desk. So almost like how you need to have an HR desk, you need to. So those are exciting times, especially for those who want to be first movers. So we expect just sitting around the table that a lot of recruitment will be happening for who knows how to do ESG. And we're having 5 other people as well from Spain, some from Africa as well, speak with us in the full access and just sit down in the room with you on how to really live that life as an ESG expert. All right, thank you, everyone. We will take our pictures now. So I'll pass it on to Adama to curate it for us. Adama, take it away.
Thank you so much, Ola. Now it's time for us to show our 32. Please put on your mic, smile, show how cute you look. Are we ready?
Yes.
Some people are not smiling yet.
Oh,
You have to smile. Hello, Blessing, you're not smiling. Are you angry with me? Okay, let's go. 1, 2, 3, and go. Please. Okay.
On the page 2 as well. So we'll need to scroll to snap page 2.
Some people are missing. Can you come?
Faith, we don't see your face.
Did you? Some people are missing. Jade, Sola, Mike. WEMS Consultancy, please raise your head up. Thank you. All right, we've got that. Thank you so much for joining.
See everyone in the capstone groups. See us next week. Remember, your assignment for week 3 is contribution in the capstone project.